Welcome back to our last week of our Page Turner series. This week's Bible story comes from the book of Luke, and it says, Jesus went on to say, "There was once a man who had 2 sons. The younger one said to him, 'Father, give me my share of the property now.' So the man divided his property between his 2 sons. After a few days, the younger son sold his part of the property and left home with the money. He went to a country far away where he wasted his money on reckless living. He spent everything he had. Then a severe famine spread over that country, and he was left without a thing. So he went to work for one of the citizens of that country, who sent him to the farm to take care of his pigs. He wished he could fill himself with the bean pods the pigs ate, but no one gave him anything to eat. At last he came to his senses and said, 'All my father's hired workers have more than they can eat, and here I am about to starve. I will get up and go to my father and say, Father, I have sinned against God and against you. I am no longer fit to be called your son. Treat me as one of your hired workers.' So he got up and started back to his father. He was still a long ways away from home when his father saw him. His heart was filled with pity, and he ran, threw his arms around his son, and kissed him. 'Father,' the son said, 'I have sinned against God and you. I am no longer fit to be called your son.' But the father called to the servants. 'Hurry,' he said, 'bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and shoes on his feet. Then go and get the prize calf and kill it, and let us celebrate with a feast. For this son of mine was dead, but now he is alive. He was lost, but now he has been found.' And so the feasting began. In the meantime, the older son was out in the field. On his way back, when he came close to the house, he heard music and dancing. So he called one of the servants and asked him, 'What's going on?' 'Your brother has come back home,' the servant answered, 'and your father has killed the prize calf because he got him back safe and sound.' The older brother was so angry that he would not go into the house. So the father came out and begged him to come in. But he spoke back to his father. 'Look, all these years I've worked for you like a slave, and I've never disobeyed your orders. What have you given me? Not even a goat for me to have a feast with my friends. But this son of yours wasted all your property, and when he comes back home, you kill the prize calf for him.' 'My son,' the father answered, 'you are always here with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be happy, because your brother was dead, but now he is alive. He was lost, but now he has been found.'" This is a story you might have heard before, but for Page Turner, we are in the land of stories, and I feel like we can try thinking about the story in a different way. So I want you to close your eyes and listen to my story and try to imagine on with me. There once was a great Viking chief. He was noble and kind. He possessed a magical axe that could harness the power of the trees, the sun, the sky, and other things found in nature. The Viking chief had 2 daughters. The older had unparalleled wisdom that she would use to help her father lead the people. The younger had limitless creativity that she could use to help her father as well. Even though they each had great power, they were still learning how to use their gifts from their father. Their father was teaching them how to use their power to do good deeds. One day, the younger daughter lost interest in learning from her father and longed to leave. The Viking chief was very sad. He could have raised his axe to summon the wind to keep her from leaving, but he didn't. He let her fly away. He even gave her a fair share of his riches so that she'd be able to take care of herself. She journeyed to a far-off land, and without her father around to tell her how to use her powers, she used her creativity to create dance festivals and parties every day. She used all her riches to put together elaborate banquets and huge feasts. She soon realized that she hadn't used her powers to help anyone. Sure, people enjoyed the festivities at first, But it got old after a while. They started getting bored, and one by one, they left her. The younger daughter was all alone, without any more gold, and in a strange land. Back at home, the older daughter worked diligently next to her father. She knew that now that her sister was gone, she would have to leave the people alone one day. One day, as the Viking chief and his older daughter worked together, they saw a person approaching in the distance. They couldn't tell who it was, but a voice sang out over the hills, "Daddy! Daddy!" The Viking chief raised his axe in the air. The older daughter, who also heard the voice, thought he would surely conjure a storm to push her sister away. How dare she show her face after she had abandoned them? But instead he summoned all the people, the creatures, the dancing wind, the soaring clouds, the singing trees, and all of nature to come and celebrate his daughter's return. The older daughter was so mad. "You've never done anything like that for me," she said. "My daughter, I love you both. My heart is split evenly for you. But today it's your sister who's returned from far away. Will you join me in celebrating her?" And the whole clan celebrated the younger daughter's return, who from then on used her powers to help others. You see, there might come a time when you might be far away from God, and God will treat you just like the fathers did in both the stories I read you today. God will always celebrate your return. Let's see if we can break it down a little bit, though, too. Do you know what the word reconciliation means? Reconciliation means to restore or fix or bring back a friendship or a relationship. Have you ever had a fight with a friend and it's awful and it's awkward because you're not talking to each other and it feels so bad, right? But then you finally talk and you make things right again. The first time you play together again is so fun, isn't it? That is reconciliation. And God is all about reconciliation. He wants us to live in perfect peace with each other and with Him. That's why we see so many stories in the Bible about it. God wants us to create our own stories of reconciliation. True stories, not fairy tales. Is there someone you can think of that you need to restore a relationship or a friendship with? We're not perfect. But when we pay attention to the things that God teaches us, and we work on putting those things into our lives, we change little by little every day. And each time we make a change in our lives for God, you best believe God celebrates us.